Hi, welcome to the video. I'm John, and this is part 3 of the stop sign guitar build. Before I get going, I want to say subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to do the little thumbs up button down here. Leave lots of comments if you want. I always like to hear from people. Share my videos. That really helps me out quite a bit when people share them around. I'm sure you got some guitar buddies that would probably find it interesting. Like me on Facebook, Johnny B Guitars. Lots of stuff going up on there all the time. So I got a lot of work done on it since the last video, so let's just get straight to it. After taking the body out of the mold, I gave it a quick wet sand with 60 grit sandpaper to get rid of any high spots and just generally clean it up. It's nowhere near ready for paint yet. The sign has to be cut and fitted, the binding attached, the neck installed, and then lots of bodywork. To cut out the sign, I traced the back of the guitar on a piece of paper to make a template. Then I marked out on the back of the sign exactly where I needed to cut. Even though I carefully figured this out, I cut the sign slightly bigger than needed so I can trim it down to a perfect fit. Cutting it too small would mean getting another sign and starting over. Mating the two pieces for the first time, I could see that only two modifications were needed. The first one was where I had to compensate for the angle of the horn, and the other was where the bullet hole sits on the edge of the body. This actually caused a bit of a design dilemma before making the mold. I thought about making the body larger so that the bullet hole would be inside the body instead of on the edge. But then I realized that the awkward tension would be much more interesting. The grinding process was very time-consuming. Grinding metal can generate a lot of heat. Staying in one spot too long could scorch the edge of the sign, so I made sure to constantly keep things moving. My patience finally paid off, and I managed to keep the surface of the sign burn free. But my workshop did end up smelling like burnt plastic. 14 screws will be used to fasten the top and the bottom together. I carefully measure the location of each hole and use a center punch to accurately guide the drill bit. I align the two pieces and hold them in place with one screw at each end. This ensures the accuracy of the rest of the holes. These are only temporary screws for now. Stainless steel screws will replace these in the final assembly. Even though it's a pretty close fit, I go over the body joint with the barrel sander a few times to get a perfectly flush seam. Okay, we're at an interesting part of the build. It's where I'm going to glue the binding on the back of the guitar body. It's a two-piece guitar body, the steel top and the fiberglass bottom. Even though they're attached, they're never permanently attached. Basically, the back of the guitar is just a cover. All the structural integrity, the pickups and the neck is all attached to the steel part. But I wanted a nice way of finishing the edge where the two meet. So I thought, instead of using a regular guitar binding, I wanted to use something a lot wider. So what I'm using is furniture edging. It's pretty much the same thing. It's made of the same material, and it's even applied the same way. You can heat this up, it gets soft, and then you can form it to all the contours of the body, and then it can be glued on with super glue. One thing I'm going to do is alternate. I have two different colors, a light and a dark, so I'm going to go light and dark all the way around the outside of the body, just to give it kind of a neat look. So let's see how that works out. Each piece is cut larger than needed so it can be trimmed to size after it's heated and shaped to the contours of the body. The binding is evenly heated just enough to soften it. Too much heat and the binding will be too soft and blister. Shaping is as easy as holding the soft binding against the body contours with a rag until it cools. Before each piece is glued in place, both ends have to be trimmed and squared to make a perfect butt joint with the pieces beside it. I used gel super glue because it gave me better coverage and more drying time. Because hockey tape is strong and flexible, it worked great holding the binding in place while the glue fully dried. Small pieces of doweling help to apply pressure to the binding to make a tight fit. The layer of aluminum foil taped to the top was to protect it from accidentally being glued. After the tape was removed, things looked pretty rough. Lots of excess glue had to be stripped away and the binding filed and sanded flush. There is still lots of work to do on the body, but at this stage of the build, I can start to see what was only once a vision in my head. Well, I'm really enjoying the build so far. It's been a lot of fun. Next video is about how I'm going to attach the neck to the body, and it's going to be an adjustable style neck, which means I can adjust the action at any time with a little set screw on the body. I haven't worked out all the details yet, but that's kind of what's fun and challenging. So thanks for watching the video, and we'll see you next time.